Live from the Average Joe Nation studios in St. Clair, Missouri. This is the Average Joe Podcast, a show that proves that in this crazy world, a combination of common sense and a C-plus average is actually a superpower. Sure, he's crazy, but what if he's right? Please welcome your host, Damon Gilbert.
All right. The big news of the day. I mean, this is day 7 of the Ukrainian invasion. Or, well, the Russians invaded Ukraine, whatever you want to call it. I think it's day 7. Pretty sure it is. If not, it's close. Whatever. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. That doesn't have anything to do with what I'm wanting to talk about today. But I just want to go down and say some things. I've seen what's going on. I've heard that now we're trying to sanction him out of existence, which is never going to happen. See, you got to remember. And here's the other thing that I thought was interesting. I got so many things swimming through my head. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's really hard to get it all out. But now we're claiming, mainstream media and the powers that be, they're claiming that Putin looks pasty. Okay, that he's put on weight, that he doesn't look right, and that he's crazy, and maybe he's demented, and he's lost his will, and you base this on what? You're not even letting this guy talk. Okay, you're taking RT off. You're taking that was something else I wanted to get to. Russia television. Okay, RT, and actually a very, very viable, good news source. It really is. Say what you want about Russia. Just because they got a dictator there doesn't mean that they don't have the ability to tell a good story. Okay, I've gotten a lot of my. I don't go there immediately, but I mean go there to confirm other stories. You know, and RT's spot on. They're spot on. Very well done. Very well done. Let's see. Sputnik, a little bit different. That's more of a version of the New York Times or the Washington Post. They're pretty much a parrot for whatever the administration wants. And I'll give you that one, Sputnik. But they've been around forever. So what? Who cares what they say? The federal government as a whole is acting like you and I are too stupid to distinguish between what's right and what's wrong. I mean, I hate that. They treat us like little kids, and I don't like being treated like a child. I don't. I can make up my own mind, folks. That's why I think it's wrong to. Right now, RT's been banned from, I guess Europe. They're not allowed to broadcast in Europe, and now DirecTV's going to cut them off in the U.S., which I think is ridiculous. It really is. It just shows you this is all about free speech. At the end of the day, whether or not Putin did this on purpose to help him out, I don't know. I don't think so. But they're using, what's the old saying? I believe mayor of Chicago, that was, Obama's friend. Gosh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was quoted as saying, and he was a lefty. I mean, a hard lefty. He said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste," and that's what they're doing here. They're using it to limit your speech. Right now, you can't really say anything about the 2020 election. You do that on YouTube, you get thrown off. Why? A dissenting view. Same thing with this. What does Putin want? Getting back to the invasion. What does he want? We'll never know if you never let him talk. Okay? Does he have some valid points? I think he does. Was he wrong for invading and killing people, innocent people? Absolutely. I will not endorse that whatsoever. But we didn't see this coming. What's the CIA good for then, if you didn't see this coming years ago? Why weren't we talking about this during the Trump administration? Why were we? You didn't know this was going to happen. You didn't know that he was thinking about maybe making a move on this. Crimea, that caught him completely flat-footed. And don't even get me into Georgia. The CIA didn't see any of this coming. They can't stop anything. They're great at, and then what do? We in 2014, we commit a coup in Ukraine. The United States was involved in that. They committed a coup. And we're surprised that Russia's a little pissed off about that. I don't know how else to explain this to people. I've talked to people over the past few days, just randomly, and the degree of I guess, not disinformation, but lack of information is just stunning. No one knows anything about anything. We're all partisan. If it's a Republican saying it, we're on this side. If it's a Democrat, we're on that side. There's no in between. It's really rare to find somebody that looks at it from a standpoint of what's common sense tell you. And it just doesn't exist anymore. I was having a discussion the other day. A woman brought up the new rules and regulations for disinformation by the Department of Home Security, or Homeland Security. And it goes into this disinformation and it explains it. And she was more interested in whether or not why it ended on June 7th of 2022. This bulletin. They're going to go after disinformation and people with dissenting views and conspiracy theories and all that. And I said, you don't see the bigger picture. She was worried about the date. Why does it run off? The date? Who cares about the date? All they got to do is extend it. All they got to do is say, hey, another year, we're good. They'll probably add things to it as they go along. But it's to limit your speech. It's to limit what you're allowed to know, what you're allowed to find out. Okay, that's what this is all about. And and when you get back to Ukraine, let me ask you this. Putin's been in office for what? As far as I can remember, forever. Okay, at least, since Gorbachev. And he's a smart guy. Say what you want, tyrant, dictator, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. But at the end of the day, this guy's not a dumbass. Okay, he's not some schmuckoy. He's not like some Central American wannabe that came from the military. He can't find his ass without a map and 2 flashlights. Okay, this guy's smart. You think they didn't run the numbers on this? You don't think that when they got people together? These are people that were the first ones to put a human in space. Okay. If you believe that story, that's another story completely. But the point is the technology was there, and they've come a long ways. And I saw somebody's quote the other day. Oh, I'm going to be really scared. It was a picture of Putin. I believe he was on the phone or something, or he was talking, and behind him were 2 landlines and a fax machine. And somehow or other, the person who saw that made the comment, "Oh, I'm going to be scared of somebody that's got landlines and a fax machine." Yeah. You show me an office around, even anywhere in the United States that doesn't have a fax machine of some kind. And as far as landlines, so what? Most people have landlines if you're in business. You have to have them. So I don't even understand what that meant. He was trying to tell me that they're living back in the Stone Age, I guess. That they live in caves, and stuff. Please, give me a break. That's ridiculous. Now, are they do they have as much technology as we've got? I don't know. I would say they're lacking somewhat, but when it comes to military stuff, they're pretty good. Now, I think some of their stuff is a generation behind us, and maybe that have some bearing on whether or not and how fast they pull this off here in Ukraine. But at the end of the day, this guy's not an idiot. If you don't think he ran the numbers on this originally when he was thinking about this, it could have been years ago. He could have said, "Hey guys," it goes to his Department of Defense or the CIA, his version of it, and says, "Hey, I want you to run some numbers on me. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to invade Ukraine. What's that going to cost us globally? How are they going to react to this?" And a year later they come back with a report and they explain it to him, and he goes, "Okay, well I can live with this. Okay, they're gonna do away with SWIFT, the banking thing. Okay, we can live with that. We'll get around that. We'll do that earlier. Okay, we'll move our money and we'll use a Chinese firm. Okay, do you think they'll cut off our oil, our oil exports? You don't think so? Okay, yeah, because they need it too bad. Yeah, that makes sense. So they're not going to do that. Okay, so we'll have our oil and natural gas. Okay, well, are they going to mess with the pipeline? Okay, for a little while. They may do it for a little while, but they'll rescind that because they'll be freezing to death. Yeah, okay, so we can do that because our whole economy is based on oil and natural gas. So, they're going to cut off my membership to Costco. Okay, all right, well, I can live with that. And they're gonna prevent us from going to the judo championships and the world championships. Okay, live with that. FIFA, the soccer thing. They're not going to allow us. Oh, okay, we can do that. Yeah. See what I'm getting at? They're looking at this from a standpoint of, can we weather this? Of course you can. Of course you can. He's thought this out. This guy's not an idiot, okay? That was one of the revelations I had the other day. I thought, this guy's thought about this. He didn't do this willy-nilly. No way. No way this guy did this. Now, is it taking a little longer than he thought? Possibly. You know how long it took us to get to Baghdad? It took us 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And we were fighting people that were giving up left and right. It took us 3 weeks to get there. So to say that he's behind schedule, I don't know. You set up a schedule. You have to set up something. So you have to pick a date. Well, you didn't hold to it. So what? So it's taking a little longer. I'm telling you, this guy's, is he going to go into Lithuania and Finland? And I have no idea. I have no idea any of this. I really don't. I'm kind of like Joe Biden. I have no idea. I mean, those are words that you need to write down, because I'm not the president of the United States either. I probably should have some idea. But the fact that he said that, I agree with that. I have no idea. I have no idea what his ultimate goal is, because no one's letting him talk. Okay? They're cutting him off globally as far as communication from him. I think that's a mistake. You want to know what he's going to do. You really do. You want to have some idea. Let him talk. Who cares? What, you think he's going to sway the opinions of the citizens of the United States? No, he's not. I mean, look at it this way. In the public library right now, you have copies of a book that was purchased with federal funding. You, me, our tax dollars bought this book, okay? It's Mein Kampf, written by Adolf Hitler, all right? And in chapter 3, it specifically spells out how to eradicate the Jews. That's what it's like a workbook, an instruction manual. And we have that in our libraries, which I think is a good thing. I really do. But at the end of the day, why is it okay to have that in there, but you can't, question the 2020 election on YouTube, okay? Or you'll get thrown off. I don't understand that kind of logic. Same goes for this. Why not allow Putin to talk? Why not? I don't see the problem. You can dispute everything he says. It'd be actually better if you did. At least you'd have a dialogue then. And at the end of the day, we would know what he wants. And he has sent out some demands. I mean, he wants a Nazi he wants a leader of one particular Nazi organization turned over to him. Okay? He wants that. He wants it stated categorically that Ukraine will never be in NATO. There are a couple of things, but I mean, at the end of the day, you need to have this ongoing dialogue with this guy. And if the United States is going to be the badass in the world, don't you think Joe Biden should be talking to him on a daily basis, saying, hey, Vlad, hey, what's going on here? What's going on? What do you need? What do you need to get this thing, to settle this thing? What do I need to do for you to get you out of Ukraine today? Just like a car salesman. Why wouldn't you do that? I'll tell you why, because they want this to go on and on. This is great. There's nothing else being talked about. It's 24/7 Ukraine, because we love it, because we're making stuff up. We're making superheroes that don't exist, that are fighting for Ukraine. I mean, I saw today, what they say, 5,200 Russians have been killed. Okay. I mean, I'm not disputing that, but I mean, how many Ukrainian soldiers were killed? See, that's the thing. You can make that. That sounds like a lot of people. I mean, it doesn't. It's a tragedy, because these guys weren't supposed to be dead 3 weeks ago. Okay? They're probably all young guys with families. Go down the list. I feel sorry for them, Russian or Ukrainian. But at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. So if they've lost 5,800 or whatever, how many have you lost? If you lost 20,000, then I'd say they're winning, right? But we don't ever mention that. We don't want that mentioned. No, we'd rather have stories of bars in Wisconsin pouring out vodka on the pavement. I mean, come on. Yeah, you're really hurting Vlad. Okay, you're pouring out vodka out on the street that you already paid for. Idiots! I swear. So anyway, at the end of the day, I wish we'd talk about this. I wish Vlad was involved and was in discussions with somebody, and I don't mean third party kind of guy. Okay, I don't want somebody from the UN. And by the way, talk about somebody that's useless anymore. The United Nations, complete waste of time. And here's what Zelensky's wanting now. If you hadn't heard, he's wanting to be entered into the EU. Okay, that's just what the EU needs. Another country on the verge of bankruptcy, in complete disarray, is going to need their entire infrastructure rebuilt after this is over. That's who you want in the EU. EU can barely pay its bills now. And they got people bolting on them left and right because they don't want to be involved in this. Britain got out. France is talking about Italy. Okay. Yeah, the EU is going to be a thing of the past. I think what it's going to do is it probably won't go away, but it'll break up into sections. You'll have your Eastern, you'll have North, that kind of thing. I don't think it's going to be all different. It's not going to be the EU with the euro and all that. I don't think that's going to hold. I really don't. I don't think it can. And now you're wanting to, Ukraine's wanting to be allowed to come into the EU and siphon off all these assets. And they're not going to do that. I don't think they will. I mean, you might get in the UN, whatever. I mean, maybe they are in the UN. I'm not really sure. But the EU, that's going to be a mistake for the EU. They pull that off because there's no way they're going to be able to rebuild this country. And what's funny is it'll probably be American money that's helping to rebuild a country that was destroyed by Russia. That makes about as much sense as anything else, doesn't it? That sounds about right. If you're familiar with anything that the federal government does, I'm sure we'll pump some money in there right away. I mean, just like Afghanistan, if we tore it up, or Japan or Germany. I mean, all of Europe during World War II, who paid for all that? We did. Federal government, the taxpayer, the American taxpayer did. So I guess what I'm getting here, and I had a roundabout way of getting to that position, is at the end of the day, this is all about control of the media. That's what they want, and that's what they're getting currently, because we're falling for it. Americans are falling for this hook, line, and sinker. We're right back to the days of just post Iraqi invasion in 2003 with the freedom fries and all that nonsense. Okay, that's where we're at, and we will be willing to give up more and more freedoms in order for so-called safety. That's what we're going to do, and that's what they're looking for, because this is a reset. Okay, the powers that be operate in 25-year increments. Okay, that's what they do. Bilderberg, Trilateral Commission, Davos, Club of Rome, all these secret societies, they operate for the most part in 25-year segments. So they look at things, how can we turn things a certain direction in 25 years? Well, it hasn't been 25 years since 9/11. Okay, so 9/11 was the beginning of this. Okay, so we're not quite there yet. And not only that, but when Donald Trump came along, he kind of threw a monkey wrench into the deal. So we'll see how that works. It may be a little bit longer than 25 years this time. But at the end of the day, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying a big reset is what they're trying to do. And this is part of the game. They're using this as a tool to ultimately get to where they want to be. And that is to be a nanny state where they know everything you're doing every minute of the day, and you cannot do anything without their permission, okay? Especially if it goes against the narrative. That's basically it. So, again, that was kind of my epiphany in the last 24 hours, and I think there may be something to that. I really do. I could be wrong, and again, I don't know everything, but this looks awfully suspect. So anyway, all I can say is good day and good luck.
As always, thanks for listening to the Average Joe Podcast. Be sure to check out our website at www.averagejoenation.media and follow us on social media. Remember, if you haven't told all your friends, you're wrong.